Tonight from the Bryce Jordan Center on the campus of Penn State University in the PIAA Class 3A Boys Basketball Championship here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Tonight, the matchup, the General McLane Lancers at 27-4, taking on the Blue Devils of Greencastle Antrim at 20-11. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Bryce Jordan Center. My name is Bob McCool. To my right is Gary Sutton, and to my left is Steve Bowen. The Greencastle Antrim Blue Devils, perhaps the Cinderella story so far in this tournament, out of District 3, taking on the champions of District 10 in the General McLane Lancers. And Steve Bowen, the General McLane Lancers are trying to make history tonight by being the first team in Pennsylvania to win a football championship and a basketball championship in the same year. And there's a good reason for that. A lot of those football players are in a basketball uniform tonight, including Sean Walker.
Yeah, this is the easiest game for us to do because all we had to do was keep our notes from football. But to talk about Sean Walker, 6'4", he's been a monster in the post, not only all season long, but especially in this playoff run. 7 straight double-doubles. He had a game against Grove City in the Western Final. 17 points, 20 rebounds. He just is a marvelous inside player, but we're going to be calling a lot of different names that are going to be getting him the ball this evening.
And the guy who has to orchestrate all this has been doing this for a long time at General McLane High School, and that's Andy Schultz.
He's a maestro. He really likes this group of kids. He understands that this is a generational group. Comes along once every 10, 12 years, maybe only once. And he understands that. He's let them play a little bit this year. They're a little looser. They have a little bit more confidence than they've had in the past. And it shows this team is on a quest, not just a mission.
Let's see how the General McLane Lancers made it here to the Bryce Jordan Center. Wins over Peabody from District 8, another one over a District 8 team in Oliver, and then, as Steve said, a rematch in the District 10 championship with Grove City in the Western Final, and they came away with a win again.
The game against Grove City was probably their best in terms of controlling the tempo of the basketball against a very, very, very good opponent. The first 3 weren't bad. Grove City was a very good team, and McLane really had being here tonight on their minds.
Well, Gary Sutton, when everybody talked about George Mason being the Cinderella story last year in the NCAA tournament, I guess Greencastle Antrim is probably that team this year with 11 losses, clearly the most losses for anybody here. But it's a pretty good basketball team, and they've got a great guy to run the show in Jaron Gemby. He runs the show like a coach on the floor, and there's a good reason for that.
Well, yeah, his dad is the coach, Jaron Gemby, and then you have a brother out there, Jordan Gemby. Mom doesn't play, so I'm pretty sure the triumvirate of Gembys tonight are going to have something to say about this game. But you can see Jaron Gemby, 15.9 points a game, 56 threes this season, and this kid is a tough kind of kid. And his dad graduated there in 1981, Garen Gemby, in his 7th year at Greencastle Antrim, a team that up until this year had never won a state playoff game. So what the heck, if you're going to win them all at one time and get yourself in the state championship. They did it the hard way, and we're going to show you the road to the final game here for them, because it was really a rocky, tough road, including a win the other night in a frenetic place against James Buchanan, which was 10 miles away. You talk about, Duke and North Carolina, 10 miles apart. Well, James Buchanan and Greencastle Antrim, you couldn't have asked for a better final over at Shippensburg the other night. Greencastle Antrim winning their 4th meeting here. They were 2-2 during the season with James Buchanan. Take a look at this. Franklin Learning Center. No one thought they'd win that game. They win by 9. Then they go play Phoenixville, another tough Philly team. They win by 7. They go in and play West York, only the #1 seed in the state, knock them off 60-58. And then James Buchanan the other night in a classic 38-34. And here they are tonight. Cinderella's wearing blue and gold.
Yeah, that West York game really was the telltale sign. That's when everybody stood up and said, hey, we got a story brewing here, because everybody had presumed that West York would be here tonight. They had been ranked #1 all the way through the season. Greencastle Antrim certainly had something to say about that. We're going to turn things over now to the public address announcer here at Bryce Jordan Center for the introduction to you of all the starting lineups for both Greencastle Antrim and General McLane, as you take a look at where these two teams come from. Again, General McLane out of District 10 and Greencastle Antrim just a nudge above that Pennsylvania-Maryland border. They have made their way here to University Park for this AAA championship matchup.
Gentlemen, and welcome to the Bryce Jordan Center for tonight's PIAA High School Basketball Championships. Our game features the Class AAA Championship between the Lancers of General McLane and the Blue Devils of Greencastle Antrim. let's meet the starting lineups. First for tonight's visiting team, General McLane Lancers. At guard, a 5'9" senior, Bob Stoffer. At guard, a 5'11" senior, Drew Astorino. At guard, a 6'1" senior, Kelly Ponsel. At forward, a 5'10" senior, Dan Skelton. And at forward, a 6'4" junior, Sean Walker. The Lancers are led by head coach Andy Scholes, assisted by Brian Scholes and Roy Stoffer. And now for tonight's home team, the Greencastle Antrium Blue Devils. At guard, a 6'1" junior, Jordan Gemby. At guard, a 6' senior, Jaron Gemby. At guard, a 5'8" senior, Ty Thrush. At forward, a 6' senior, Trevor Gelsinger. And at forward, a 6'5" junior, Demetric Scott. The Blue Devils are led by head coach Jaron Gemby, assisted by Mark Poole, Jeremy Ebby, and Jerry Englehart. The officials for tonight's championship game are David B. Wright, Jeffrey T. Davis, and Roddy E. Hartle. The colors are presented by the Marion Center Area High School Junior ROTC Color Guard. The national anthem is sung by the Eisenhower High School Quintet, featuring Phil Landon, John Tack, Stephanie Mills, April DeTanto, and Matt Landon. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please rise and remove your hats as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets burnt flare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
We take a look at the starting lineups for both teams. General McLane will be the home team on the scoreboard, or excuse me, General McLane will be the visiting team. And all 5 members of that starting 5 are all members of the starting unit for General McLane's football team as well. And for the Greencastle Antrium Blue Devils, we talked about Jaron and Jordan Gemby, but you also have to keep your eye on number 24, Demetric Scott, a emerging 6'5" junior who can really play the game of basketball.
And a guy who missed 12 games for this team this year, so he is starting to kind of come into his own this late in the season. And what better time to be playing like that than the state championship game for the boys 3A.
Both teams talking with the head coaches for both teams prior to tonight's game. Both teams are going to start out in a man-to-man defense, and they will change it only if it's not working. So we'll wait and see how it all plays itself out for both teams as Greencastle Antrim in the home whites tried to tip the basketball and control it with Jordan Gemby running the floor. Could not do so, and the ball will go over to the General McLane Lancers, again the visitors in the red with the white numbers.
Bob, I got to tell you, General McLane, if they go to anything other than man, it's not because the man's not working. They won't go to anything other than man.
And the other night, Greencastle went to a 3-2 zone that they normally don't play, and it worked so well. He said, well, we'll not keep on doing it. So they've got that in their arsenal somewhere.
We talked about the Gemby brothers and their father, the head coach, Bob Stauffer, for number 25 with the basketball right now for General McLane. His father, Roy Stauffer, is an assistant coach on the Lancer staff. As General McLane works it inside, works it back outside to Drew Astorino. And Astorino comes up a little bit short. Ball is tipped around and finally controlled by Greencastle Antrim's Jaron Gemby.
Never double clutch on the three. If you're not going to shoot it, don't shoot it.
Gemby works it inside. Demetric Scott goes baseline, but can't finish it. Ball gets tipped to him. Off the glass, too strong. And Walker pulls away the rebound. The Lancers want to run. Stauffer will pull up for three. The left-hander comes up well short.
I always think it's important to get your first bucket in close here, especially if you've got a lot of space behind the basket.
Good move with the basketball by Jaron Gemby. It gets poked loose and eventually ends up in the hands of Ty Thrush.
Hardest thing here in the early moments of a game like this is getting the juices under control. And both these teams having a problem with that here just coming out of the gate.
Jaron Gemby looking to work his way around Astorino, having some trouble with it. The ball's loose. He still eventually regains possession. A minute and 20 seconds into the basketball, excuse me, a minute and 20 seconds into the basketball game. Nobody getting any points yet. As Gemby rubs off a screen, comes up no good. Ball is controlled eventually. Now, Demetric Scott finds himself too far underneath the basket. They kick it back out. 3 for 3 is Jaron Gemby.
How about Jaron Gemby? Nice job of penetration that time by number 22. And kicking it outside.
The matchup to keep your eye on the defensive side for Greencastle Antrium is Trevor Gelsinger working inside against Sean Walker.
How about Dan Skelton that time coming across the baseline hard. One hard dribble. Make that dribble take you somewhere and then touching it off the glass for the first 2 points for the Lancers.
Jaron Gemby will dictate things. He is the senior. Jordan, his younger brother, the junior, plays on the wing. They get inside. Demetric Scott with a drop step for 2.
They showed the flex, but they didn't run it. And a nice fake there by Scott, and then just turning inside for the easy bucket.
Stauffer quickly back the other way, comes up too strong. Ty Thrush pulls away the basketball for the Blue Devils. So it's Demetric Scott and Jaron Gemby, excuse me, controlling things offensively in the early going for Greencastle Antrim. That's Scott with the basketball. That's Jaron Gemby with it right now, being guarded again by Drew Astorino. Jordan Gemby had an open 3, decided not to take it.
Jordan, they run a lot of stuff here out of sets.
Demetric Scott will pull up from 17 feet and drains the 2.
Well, how about that stroke? Scott just turning around that time and showing you a 15-footer.
Normally we talk about teams having to get into rhythm offensively. McLane is very, very uncharacteristically shaggy on defense.
Ponsel pulls up from a distance, no good, gets his own rebound, immediately is double teamed. The ball comes loose, it's still loose, and will be last touched by Drew Astorino. It will go over to Greencastle Antrim. Drew Astorino, a tremendous football season, the quarterback for this Lancers team, and he is right now playing basketball on what will be his future site. He is a recruit as a defensive back here for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
What a hustle right there.
Demetric Scott right now taking over this basketball game offensively for the Blue Devils, and a whistle and a foul will be called against General McLane.
Yeah, right now that's the tough matchup for McLane.
Well, Demetric Scott is showing you something. This kid can put the ball on the floor. When you got a big guy that can handle the ball in the open court and the floor, look out, especially in a fast-paced game that General McLane likes to play.
He's got that long, lanky, athletic body and very smooth in the early going. He picks up the foul on Dan Skelton. Dan and Ryan Skelton, brothers for General McLane, just like the Gemby brothers are on the Blue Devil team. Some substitutions into the game for General McLane. Steve Roach, 6-foot senior, checks into the game, as does Bleedy Ray Wilson, a 6-foot junior. And after the foul on Dan Skelton, the Blue Devils will inbound the basketball. 4:35 remaining first quarter of play. The Blue Devils 7, General McLane 2.
Funny watching as the officials get ready to put the ball in play. Gemby and Astorino out there having a chat. He's back and forth.
Jordan Gemby works it inside for Gelsinger for 2. And a whistle and a timeout called as Andy Schultz cannot be happy with what his team has done in the opening minutes. 4:19 left the first quarter of play, and General McLane finds themselves in a 9-2 hole.
Well, I'll tell you what, you want to watch a well-coached offensive basketball team. Watch this. Take a look right here. Now, what you're going to see, stop here. Here you have the screen, first of all, set. You're coming off the screen, and you're looking inside. Let's see what he gets right here. Okay, now take a look. Here it is again, nothing going out. After the screener's the most important guy in the house. He's the easiest guy to hit, so he holds the screen, delays, rolls the basket. Take a look at this, beats him in. Easy, easy layup. Well-conceived play, simplest play you can run.
We talked about Drew Astorino heading to Penn State for football. Trevor Gelsinger will be heading to Penn State on a soccer scholarship. So a couple of future Nittany Lions playing on the home floor of the Nittany Lion basketball program. And Steve, that's an interesting matchup. And General McLane has not taken advantage of Trevor Gelsinger at 6 foot guarding the 6'4" Sean Walker early on.
Well, they haven't run many sets, which is part of the problem. In order to have Walker be effective, you've got to get him the basketball. Nice job of getting open down low by Astorino. Chance for a three-point play.
Astorino gets his first points and will go to the foul line in the process.
What happened is they basically crossed the guards low and nobody picked up Astorino. He was wide open uncharacteristically. Look at this. Nobody home.
Ty Thrush picking up the first foul against the Blue Devils. And as Steve said, a chance for Drew Astorino to make it a three-point play. He comes up short, and Demetric Scott pulls away the rebound. General McLane pushing the defense now the length of the floor.
Well, and what you have to do now is if you're Greencastle, you need to find a way to make them pay for it. Greencastle contentious to get the possession here.
Tough catch by Demetric Scott working inside against Bleedy Ray Wilson. Wilson knocked it loose for a moment. Scott slow to get up.
Good double back that time by General McLane to get the turnover.
They're working 5-on-4 as Demetric Scott is slow to get down the floor. Astorino takes advantage of it and will go to the line. Demetric Scott is still shaken up.
I'll tell you what, Astorino is strong with the basketball. Coming right off the screen again. You're going to see that screen right here. Actually, no screen at all. He just took off, found the quick seam, 2 dribbles, and he's in.
Foul was on Jaron Gemby. That's his first. Team foul number 2.
Look at the strength going up through the foul to finish it off. That's the mark of a great player. You can finish the play, and that's the kind of focus he showed as a football quarterback and showing here on the basketball court as well.
And Greencastle Antrium finds a gap in that pressure defense as Jordan Gemby beats everybody down the floor for an easy 2.
Way to get a team out of a press is to attack it for baskets, and that's exactly what Greencastle Antrium did that time.
The Lancers have picked up the pace as Stauffer comes up short, gets his own rebound. Tosses it back outside to Ray Wilson. He's got some trouble with it, as does Astorino.
Walker has not gotten a touch yet in this game. He's been dynamite throughout the tournament.
Averaging a double-double throughout the postseason as he knocks the ball out of bounds. Or was he? No, last touch by the Blue Devils. It'll stay General McLane basketball.
Guard play has been the strength of General McLane since Stauffer and Astorino started playing 4 years ago. They're not playing well tonight, and that's the reason that McLane's down.
Well, Jordan Gemby wanted the charge. He didn't get it. Nice play on the inbounds pass.
To Astorino for the turnaround 2, comes up no good. Substitution for Greencastle Antrim, 6'1" senior Greg Hams checks into the game, wearing number 32 for the Blue Devils.
Remember that play, they'll use it again later, a little hook play off the inbounder.
Jaron Gemby gets himself lost inside and turns the ball over. Stauffer going one-on-one. Finds himself in the midst of three defenders, kicks it outside to Astorino. Gets it back to Stauffer on the wing. His 3 is well short. And here come the Gemby brothers back on the break. Some trouble for Greencastle Antrim, knocked out of bounds. It'll stay Blue Devil basketball.
Gemby got inside that foul line, and once you're inside the foul line, you either are going to have to pull it back out with your dribble or shoot it. He got caught with nowhere to go and got lucky the ball got tipped out of bounds by a red uniform.
Substitution for the Lancers. 6' junior Dan Mulligan will check into the game. Blue Devils will inbound the basketball with 2:36 left first quarter play. Greencastle Antrim on top 11-7. Scott for 3 comes up well short. So both teams struggling from the distance early on in this basketball game.
Scott wasn't ready to shoot that ball. That really was not the shot he wanted there. He really didn't have his legs set and just kind of let it go short.
And so it will go back to Greencastle Antrim. The Blue Devils have led this game from the opening tip.
3-2 zone now from Greencastle. They switch up. They used this the other night against James Buchanan, and it confused James Buchanan to death, so much so they only scored 34 points.
Mulligan with the basketball on the right wing. They find Walker along the baseline. He pulls up from 10 feet and scores.
That's the seam of the zone down there in the baseline where it's weak, and they got it to Walker. Nice job right away. Do you think they were ready for this in this scouting report?
That's his first touch, I think, of the evening.
It is.
Averaging 19.5 points per game coming in. And again, as good as he was during the regular season, he has been absolutely unbelievable in the postseason. Jaron Gemby finds younger brother Jordan ahead of the pack. He waits for help. And eventually it comes in the place of Gelsinger, tied up, and it will stay Blue Devil basketball on the jump ball.
A little bit sloppy on the passing on this possession for Greencastle Antrim, but they're going to keep it on the jump ball.
Substitution for General McLane as Bob Stauffer will check back into the game.
Nice job by Andy Schultz to sit him down. He was a little out of control offensively, and that hurt his defense as well. He's really a rhythm-type player, but he can be a game changer.
He is a 1,400-plus points in his career at General McLane. As Hams pulls up from distance and comes up no good. Back the other way comes Astorino. Takes a step, dishes it off, and laying it home is Bob Stauffer for two.
General McLane's in the game they want to be in right now. Run it, get it down the floor, make the other team race to get back with you.
Pulling up in traffic is Jaron Gemby, nothing there, and back come the Lancers on a 4-on-2. Astorino dishes it off, but they're going to call it off. Offensive foul will be called on Drew Astorino.
80% of the offensive fouls that are called one step inside the foul line. Watch this. Where does he take off? Bang. Inside the foul line, player control, head the other way. He's got perfect position right here. And you get out of there, okay? You take one for the team. Most unselfish play you can make.
Jordan Gemby taking the charge as Astorino picks up his first personal, second team foul against the Lancers. And again, beating the Lancers down the floor. This time it's Trevor Gelsinger for an easy two.
Found Steve Roach asleep with the switch defensively down there.
Back the other way comes Bob Stauffer for another two, and we're tied at 13.
Intriguing game so far. You get a sense here that McLane's starting to leave town here with the bus, but the Greencastle Antrim seems to answer with those things every time back.
Jordan Gemby dials it home from distance inside of a minute to go first period.
That was a set piece that time coming off a screen to the corner.
Astorino gets bumped and fouled. I believe it'll be Ty Thrush who'll get called for the foul, and if so, that'll be his second. Demetric Scott quickly up off the Greencastle Antrim bench.
Watch his last play. He's going to come down and come off this screen, and then he gets the pass. Beautiful, beautiful, and well-conceived play.
Also into the game for the Blue Devils, 5'11" junior Max Frederick, wearing number 12. Inbounds play for the Lancers with 50 seconds remaining first period of play. 16-13, Greencastle Antrim on top.
Still in that 3-2 zone.
They work it inside. Now Roach has a touch with it. He cannot find the bottom.
They got the shot they want. You get those kind of good shots, they're going to fall eventually. They attacked it from the side well, and they're finding seams very, very well.
See if Greencastle Antrim will hold it for one final shot here in the first period, now with 25 seconds remaining, and a 16-13 Blue Devil lead.
Always say you want to go in. If you're going to hold it for one last shot, you can win about 11 seconds. By the time you get in there, if you miss, you get a chance for a putback.
They're down to 15 seconds right now with Gelsinger looking for somebody to come out and help him. And a whistle and a foul going to be called, if I believe that's on Astorino.
It is.
And that's number 2 on Drew Astorino.
Astorino working really hard out there trying to make sure that Gemby's not going to put the ball on the floor for the final shot.
It's like he was in a ring earlier tonight. He bandaged up, must have been having some nosebleed problems. The way this team plays, we're just watching them in the hallway. They are clearly a football team playing basketball. They're tough as nails.
We're running out of time here.
Down to 4, down to 3. Jaron Gemby pulls up from distance, comes up empty, and that will be the final play of the first quarter. At the end, a one-quarter play, the AAA championship. The score, Greencastle Antrim 16, General McLane 13. We'll take a break and come back with more from the Bryce Jordan Center on the Pennsylvania Cable Network.
Can you imagine not being allowed to play the sports you love? That was the reality 50 years ago for many young women. Thanks to Title IX and the efforts of those who wanted to participate, there are now more than 3.5 million athletes participating in girls' high school sports. For 50 years, Title IX and the PIAA, advancing opportunities for young women.
to the Bryce Jordan Center alongside Gary Sutton and Steve Bowen. My name is Bob McCool, AAA Championship. As we get ready to start, General McLane with possession, and immediately out of the break, a three-pointer by Bob Stauffer has us tied at 16-16.
And the perfect way to attack the 3-2 zone is baseline, middle, opposite, and that's exactly what they did. Look at the defense here.
Stauffer picking the pocket of Jaron Gemby, and now he'll pull it out and wait for help from his teammates. And a whistle and a foul called against the Blue Devils. It's on Jaron Gemby. That's his second.
And now watch the steal right here.
This is what Bob Stauffer does. He's done it for 4 years. Just a gritty kid, great reflexes, and did a nice job to bring it outside.
Offensive rebound for Bleedy Ray Wilson, and a fresh look for General McLane, looking for their first lead of the game.
And what they're trying to do right now is to draw them out. Look at the first quarter numbers there. General McLane 7-15. Greencastle 6-14, as close to the score as so far.
Stauffer with it, gives it up to Steve Roach at the high post. Now it's Ray Wilson as they swing it around, looking for Walker to get free. Finally gets it up against the double team and too strong.
Nice face up that time by Scott.
Yeah, everybody came over to help for the weak side, and believe me, they'll be looking for the pass there next time he goes up for that.
Gelsinger gets a step around Walker, dishes it off inside to Demetric Scott for two.
Good job of getting the ball inside that time for Greencastle Antrium and Brian Lowther, or make that number 15 rather, White Geisinger.
Drew Astorino with a pretty crossover dribble, frees himself up for two.
Boy, Astorino can create his own shot so well. They said Geisinger, by the way, for the Gelsinger family. I want to make sure we get that right.
As Jaron Gemby's going to get fouled this time by Bob Stauffer. Stauffer got away with it the first time on a steal. This time he'll get whistled for a foul. That'll be his first.
And Coach is standing over there right now and saying it. Andy Schultz saying, you don't make a foul this far away. Look at this. Create a shot. 2 dribbles left. Just perfect form on a jump shot. Take that picture, go sell it. You're going to make a lot of money on teaching people how to shoot the J.
Kelly Ponsel checks back into the game as Steve Roach will come out for General McLane.
Yeah, Andy Schultz is saying, I want you to be aggressive, guys, but, you know, fouling negates hustle. You don't want to foul out there 35 feet away from the basket.
Greg Hams also checking into the game for Greencastle Antrim. Number 32 in the white with the blue numbers. Jaron Gemby comes off a screen, goes strong to the hole, comes up no good. Gelsinger's tip no good, but Demetric Scott's third opportunity is good.
Gemby has a tendency to force a little bit. You can see that he's a whirling dervish kind of player. And here they are attacking the 3-2 zone again. They're going to look to hit baseline and then either inside or opposite.
Inside of 6 minutes remaining first half of play. Greencastle Antrim on top by 2. Astorino right now taking over things offensively for General McLane along with Bob Stauffer. Both of them come up no good on this trip, and Jordan Gemby has a rebound. They've got Demetric Scott on the far side. They didn't get it to him, and so they'll restart the offense.
For Greencastle, as long as they stay within their offense, they are tough. When they start to leave and get a little impatient like any other team, they have their problems. They run nice stuff on their offense.
Right now, Ray Wilson trying to deny Demetric Scott the basketball, but he's just too tall inside.
What they did that time is they ran Scott off a post split, and then they brought him down to the weak side. A beautiful, well-conceived play and got exactly what they wanted. Rebounding the game so far, Greencastle is up 14-8. Part of the reason they're also up for the game right now, 22-18.
And Demetric Scott has all 6 points for GA here in the second quarter.
And there you see Scott again get great position and another wonderful pass out of a well-conceived play.
Demetric Scott averaging 15.5 points a game coming in tonight, already in double figures with 10.
Set play off a double screen here and almost stolen.
By Demetric Scott. Again, long, lanky body. He's truly got a basketball body, and he has made his presence known here to Pennsylvania fans watching around the state.
You can see Andy Schultz, there's concern on his face because his team offensively is ragged at best. They really haven't run any of their stuff. They've only got a couple of touches to Sean Walker. They got to this game by getting it to Sean Walker. Part of that has to be credit Greencastle Antrim, but
Bleedy Ray Wilson pulls up from distance, no good, hustles to get his own rebound. Eventually gets it to Bob Stauffer. Again, they look for Walker, but they're just denying him inside. Stauffer pulls up for 3, and Scott has a rebound.
And this 3-2 has lured them into an outside shooting game. They're not looking for the touches at the baseline with the big guy Walker down in there, which I think they really want.
And that's not General McLane's game. They need to run their offense. They need to do screen and roll. They need to do anything but what they're doing right now because the outside game is not working.
Scott gives it up to Gelsinger, who finds Ty Thrush. They work it around the perimeter. Jordan Gemby has it out top. Jaron Gemby right now on the bench with those 2 personal fouls. So Jordan now becomes the playmaker.
Yeah, McLane plays great defense. The key to playing them, I think, is reverse the basketball. It's not a good shot.
And he misses everything. That's the second time that Demetric Scott has put up an off-balance 3.
And I think he's going to come out of the game here for a minute. He took that shot because he wanted to, not because it was the right thing to do.
4:08 remaining in the first half. 22-18, Blue Devils on top.
Tyreek Thrush out of the game instead.
As Jaron Gemby does check back into the game for the Blue Devils.
So here again, the 3-2 zone. Looks so loose, so easy to attack. You see that middle area, looks wide open. But you have to attack this thing from the side. They really move it around. They're trying to screen on the top. There it is.
Sean Walker bodying himself down low and getting 2.
Exactly what you said, Gary. Nice little entry pass to the wing. Walker cuts across, posts up deep. It's tough to stop them when they get that kind of ball movement and when Walker's posting up that deep.
And the next move you got to make then, if you're Greencastle, you got to drop the guard. And once you do that, then you start to have slashing guards to baskets over.
A breakdown defensively, however, for the Lancers. Frees up Demetric Scott inside for 2 more. He's got 8 of his 12 here in period number 2.
Tell you what, Scott can play. So there's the biggest understatement of the year, huh?
Drew Astorino swinging it back the other side as Astorino and Stauffer play a little catch with one another. Stauffer swings inside, loses the handle on the basketball, gives it back outside. Astorino going to put up a 3. Off the rim, no good, and Scott will pull it away.
I just think you need to go back and continue to work that baseline. It's open.
Jaron Gemby with a long-range 3 comes up, no good.
Either team showing a lot of patience these last 2 possessions.
Astorino with a great feed ahead to Stauffer, who could not finish. And back the other way come the Blue Devils. Jaron Gemby tried with a touch pass, but good hustle by Bleedy Ray Wilson denies the break for the Blue Devils.
Everybody get your breath for a moment.
But this isn't the style either of these teams want to play.
No. Well, I think that McLane's probably better suited to play this style, and I think McLane's been lured in with the 3-2 in the one half of the court to the outside shooting. On the other side, I think Greencastle's being lured into the fast game, trying to run the other way. Both teams out of character.
Substitutions into the game for both teams. Mac Frederick back in there for the Blue Devils, and Dan Skelton back in there for the Lancers. Jordan Gemby with the basketball. Look to dish it inside. Gelsinger with a good feed. Greg Ham with the second putback, putting back his own miss.
Just solid basketball moves. Really good, simple stuff in there. And great passing on the interior.
6-point lead now for the Blue Devils and a steal for Gelsinger.
Good job again of collapsing in the middle of that 3-2 zone when you try to attack it from the middle.
Gelsinger gives it up to Jaron Gemby, kicks it back outside to Jordan Gemby. His 3 rims out. And now the Lancers want to run with it. Stauffer with the basketball in his hands right now.
Pretty good defensive transition as McLane trying to beat the zone down the floor, and they still get back and get a chance to set up.
2 minutes remaining in the first half. And Astorino going to get called for the travel as the defensive presence of Gelsinger denies it.
That was almost the greatest fake I ever saw, Steve.
Gary, I'm just amazed at how poorly General McLane is playing offensively. This is not the way Andy Schultz designs things. This isn't the way that they're coached. This isn't the way that they've played all season long.
Well, Sean Walker has been dynamite all season long, and right now you'd think nothing's going to happen until he touches the ball at least one time, and that's kind of the rule. Get that post guy to touch it one side. It'll be 3 passes or 4 passes.
Greg Ham goes back door and goes strong to the hole. The shot will be no good. Foul before the shot. But Greg Hams will head to the foul line to shoot 2.
An 8-2 run by GA to break out to this 26-20 lead.
One-on-one you score, one-on-two you pass. And Greg Ham said, hey, I got a one-on-one situation. Let's take it to the rack.
15th foul against General McLane is number 2 on Dan Skelton. As Greg Hams steps to the foul line, a 59% foul shooter in the season, misses the first. And the Lancers will again go back to the bench as Brian Lowther will check into the game. 6'4" sophomore coming in for General McLane.
The difference in this game so far has been Scott. Plain and simple. I don't think anybody was ready for what he brought to the floor tonight.
And Hams goes 1 for 2. 3 points now for Greg Hams. And it's a 7-point lead for the Blue Devils at 27-20.
Now they go back to, is it man-to-man this time?
It is a man-to-man again. Keep your eye on the matchup with Gelsinger and Sean Walker going up against one another.
Nope, they show man-to-man. They're back to the 3-2.
Ray Wilson pulls up for three.
Showed man-to-man, dropped back to the 3-2, and when they did, they opened up a great big hole, and Wilson said, hey, I'll step right in there, thank you very much.
The thing, though, is that they've had so much success when they do throw it to the wing and then Walker comes across the post up. As soon as Ray Wilson got it on the wing, one of the players dropped back to double team, and he was wide open for the three.
And that's what we said. As soon as that wing double team's down, you're going to have those kind of shots, and you're going to get to shoot them in rhythm.
Well, knocked out of bounds by General McLane, and so the Blue Devils will take the basketball right in front of us with 1:22 remaining in the first half. Greencastle Antrim right now on top by 4, 27-23. Jaron Gemby spins through traffic and scores.
Wow. Little reverse spin down the lane and a dipsy-do twirl off the glass.
Dan Mulligan with the basketball right now for General McLane. That's Walker with it, pulling up from distance. Comes up short, and a good hustle by Mulligan to get the rebound and then call a timeout before he steps out of bounds. Calling a timeout with 59.7 seconds remaining in the first half. And right now, Greencastle Antrim on top of General McLane, 29-23.
That timeout saved a big possession there. They're down 6 points with 59.7 seconds to go, and they're going to draw up something right here. I think it's going to have Walker involved. Look at this move. Watch a spin right there, and a beautiful little spin.
For as poorly as General McLane has played, and I'm sure that their fan base is kind of shocked, and their coaching staff is, you know, they're down 6 points at the end of halftime. Could be 8, might be 4.
Today is day one of a two-day tournament here at the Bryce Jordan Center. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage so far, but we're only halfway through. 4 more games tomorrow afternoon here at Penn State University, beginning at 12 noon with the Class A Girls Championship. Bishop Guilfoyle taking on North Catholic, and then perhaps the most anticipated matchup of the tournament, the AA boys game at 2 o'clock. Prep Charter out of Philadelphia taking on Aliquippa out of the city of Pittsburgh, and then 2 more for you Saturday evening as well with a 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock tip-off. Right now, we are just about at the halfway mark of the boys AAA game with Greencastle Antrim out of District 3 taking on the District 10 champion General McLane Lancers, and the Blue Devils at 20-11 on the season and the 5th seed coming out of District 3 right now trying to finish off their Cinderella run to a state championship.
Traditionally, McLane plays very smart, always sees the ball. That time, Demetric Scott stepped out, blocked the shot. It was going to go out of bounds. Sean Walker didn't realize it had been blocked, tried for the save. It would have been General McLane ball underneath their own hoop.
And so Greencastle will instead inbound it and have to go the length of the floor with 50 seconds remaining. Jaron Gemby gets it along the baseline, gets help from Jordan Gemby. As General McLane right now double teaming on the inbounds pass and then dropping back in their man. Ty Thrush rubbing off the screen and roll with Gelsinger, and Thrush will take it himself. Tipped around again, and finally controlled by Khalidi Ray Wilson. Back the other way comes Bob Stauffer through heavy traffic and scores.
Boy, great job by Stauffer just to keep control of the basketball, and a huge bucket here for a little momentum for General McLane, and still 18 seconds to go.
And the Blue Devils right now with a 4-point lead and seeing if they can extend it going into the break.
Look for Gemby to try to penetrate here.
Gelsinger looking for somebody to go backdoor, now looks for Demetric Scott. Finally, Scott gets it with 5 seconds. Goes for the turnaround jumper along the baseline and finds the bottom. That kind of night for Demetric Scott will put him in double figures in quarter number 2, and with 14 points to go to the break, a huge momentum swing perhaps for Greencastle Antrim. We'll see how the General McLane Lancers respond in half number 2. We invite you to stick around for our halftime show with our own Mike Zambelli and Jim Wills. They'll take you through the first half highlights and get you set for half number 2 of the boys AAA championship between Greencastle Antrim and General McLane, with the Blue Devils of Greencastle Antrim on top by a score of 31-25. You're watching high school basketball championship matchups on Pennsylvania's Championship Network, the Pennsylvania Cable Network, PCN.
Championship on PCN is underwritten by the Association of Pennsylvania State College and University Faculties. Everyday APSCA faculty and coaches of the 14 state system universities are making the difference in the lives of students. Committed, dedicated, that's APSCOP, Pennsylvania's own state system faculty. And by FIA, Pennsylvania's best choice for affordable student aid solutions, is proud to be a sponsor of the PIAA Sports Championship. Funding education in Pennsylvania for more than 40 years, FIA is a constant and growing resource for Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Athletic Trainers Society, certified athletic trainers working in the Commonwealth to protect and enhance the health and welfare of our clients through preventions, recognitions, management, and rehabilitation of injuries. Greencastle, Antrium leading by 6 as you get a look at some of the goodies being served up here at the Bryce Jordan Center on the campus of Penn State University. At the half of the 3A championship game, Greencastle, Antrium 31 and General McLane at 25. At the half here, Mike Zambelli joined by Jim Wills. Jim, we have a makings here of really a fantastic and a classic finish. Two teams with full intentions of walking out of here with a state championship.
No doubt about it, Mike. We've had a great first half. You've seen a lot of athleticism in Scott. You've seen Astorino, what he did in the football program, speed and agility out front in the guard position. A real good battle going on here. This may go right to the wire.
Blue Devils getting indeed 14 points from Scott. He started out with 4. It seemed they kind of forgot about him and then resurfaced towards the end of the half.
I think he got himself more involved there towards the last couple of minutes, and then he had a big bucket right at the end of the half there. But I think they're looking for him inside. He's doing a good job of going to the boards, and they're getting him the ball, and the guards are doing a good job with that.
For the Lancers, of course, they're looking to make history. They can win here. It would be the first school to win a football state championship and basketball in the same year. But if they're going to be successful, they have to do something about number 24.
Well, look at this. Look at him inside, outside. Demetric Scott just knows when to get the basketball. And I told you, Jordan Demby gets him the ball inside. Those are the kind of things they're going to always be looking for, the big guy inside. Very mobile, as you can see by the moves he made right there.
You know, it's an interesting fact about this Blue Devils team. You know, they don't have a championship this year. They played in the very tough Mid-Penn Conference. They finished second there. You know, they come out of District 3 as the number 5. They're looking for, however, the big prize of the whole deal. If they are going to be successful, they, of course, have to continue what they're doing. We take a look now at General McLane. You mentioned those football players, Stauffer and Astorino. Boy, are they winners? Are they competitors?
Well, you can tell they just get anything in their hands when it comes to sports, and they're going to be competitors. There you see number 25, Stauffer, has 9 points at the half, really doing a good job getting inside, getting himself involved, and getting into the offense. Well, what's going to need to happen, though, is they got a problem. Sean Walker, averaging 19 points a game. He's only come up with 4 points here in the first half. That is not going to get the job done for McLane.
They started the year 3-3. They have won 24 of their last 25. They look to close it out here with a win in the state finals. Your 3A championship is at the half. When we return, we will bring you opening action of the third quarter. Enjoy.
I officiate PIAA sports, and I am an accountant.
I officiate PIAA sports, and I'm a teacher.
I'm a PIAA basketball official, I'm a firefighter, I'm a father, and I'm also a fan. I think it's easy for people to forget that we are regular people, that the same people I'm refereeing, that my kid plays with those kids sometimes. My kids play in the same league as these kids.
One of the greatest aspects of officiating is building relationships with the partners you're working games with, getting to know them as people, and also building relationships with the players and the coaches that are on the field with you every game.
These kids work so hard day in and day out, and you get to watch the benefit of them getting a new personal record, them making that bar that they've been dreaming of for weeks, and you get to have the front row seat to witness that every single day.
Greencastle Antrim 31, General McLane 25 in the boys AAA championship matchup. Alongside Gary Sutton and Steve Bowen, my name is Bob McCool. We'll take you through some highlights of half number 1.
In the first half, General McLane only shot 11 for 30, but Bob Stauffer was much better when he took it inside than when he takes it outside. Good strong dribble drive that time. Now we will see the pass out of the double team underneath, and the only 3 that he hit. And now a really strong drive to the hoop. But McLane again, 11 for 30, not good.
Well, it was the Demetric Scott show in the first half. There you see him posted up on the inside. Then coming off again, Gelsinger's pass. Scott's going to put it away. Watch Scott showing you again right here how you get up on the offensive glass. Right here, and a nice little touchback. And then Scott again on a beautiful reverse court pass, getting underneath. And then at the end of the half, how lucky can you get? Well, there's another layup. And one more, lost it. No, maybe not. And that was with no time left on the clock. See you later. Head to the locker room, and you're number 1 for the moment, but we still have half a game to play.
That's when you know it's your night, when you can lose the ball and still make a shot like that going into the break.
And right here's the problem so far. Lack of inside consistency for General McLane. Inside consistency all the time. On the other side for GA, you look at free throws, nothing much there. Threes, 2 out of 11. McLane shooting too many threes, not enough inside shots, and not enough fast break shots.
And if you notice, they're most successful when they get it inside. 20 of their 25 points have come in the paint.
And that's despite the fact that Sean Walker has been very much a non-factor in his basketball game with just 4 points.
Absolutely.
And those 20 points in the paint, though, have come off fast breaks, and they have been kind of static. So you need to get some more consistency in your half-court game to go with that full-court game. Greencastle and Antrium has been able to match them pretty much and do a much better job in their half-court game inside.
As we take a look at the leading scorers, as Gary said, it's been the Demetric Scott show so far with 14 points. Bob Stauffer leading the way right now in a pretty balanced attack for General McLane. But again, Sean Walker, not to beat the point too much, but Sean Walker has been averaging a double-double throughout the postseason for General McLane. He has been very much a non-factor tonight with just 4 points. He had 17 points in the Western Final over Grove City against Oliver. In the semifinal, he had 31.
I will guarantee you that Andy Schultz will have the ball touching his hands early and often when they get the ball back.
Greencastle Antrim will start with the basketball to start the second half, and they have trouble with it and lose it as Bob Stauffer will pull it away. The 4th turnover of the game for the Blue Devils. They try to get it in the hands of Walker, but Walker was not expecting it and finally run down by Astorino. Shot blocked by Scott from behind of the shot attempt by Bob Stauffer. Everybody out of sorts a little bit in the first possession of the second half.
Nice heads-up play by Dan Skelton. Throw it back outside off the air ball.
Both teams will start the second half with their original starting 5s. Dan Skelton, Drew Astorino.
I'm telling you, the ball is not going to get shot until he touched it once. There it is.
There he's got the basketball right now on the baseline, works his way inside and scores.
About 2 minutes before the start of the half, Andy Schultz pulled Walker aside, had a good long stern talk based on Andy Schultz's facial expressions with him, and we saw the results, I think, a little bit right there.
Well, you know, if anybody pulled the trigger that time before it touched Walker's hands, it would have been on the bench in about 2 seconds.
It's Jaron and Jordan Gemby, tied Thrush. Demetric Scott and Trevor Gelsinger out there right now for the Blue Devils, who again are in trouble as Jaron Gemby and Astorino collide with one another, and I believe they're going to call Astorino for a foul. And if they do, that's number 3.
I actually thought Gemby had the foul, frankly.
It is
that's
on
what
Gemby.
It's a player possession foul on Jaron Gemby, and that's his 3rd. So either way, somebody was in trouble.
It's the right call right there. Gemby is the one that initiates the contact with Astorino after losing the ball from behind.
And his left shoulder is not feeling well at all right now, Gemby. You can see him holding it.
So some concern for Dad on the bench. Jaron Gemby, the 7th-year head coach for Greencastle Antrim.
Doubles down screen.
Ponsel going to take it to the hole himself, and Ponsel will get his first field goal.
Well-conceived half-court play, a double down screen at the high post, and then they had him wide open for a drive on the other wing.
The Lancers right now as close as they've been since it was 22-20.
Look at this. Now, you got a double down screen. Now, what happens is everything cleared out. It became a one-on-one move at the side. It was a really interesting play. We'll see it one more time, maybe.
So the last foul
Here,
was...
Stop right there. Now, what you got there is you had a double down screen, and everything was high, and the guy was one-on-one on the wing then, able to drive off very easily for a nice layup for Ponsel.
We thought the last foul might be on Astorino or Gemby. It was on Jaron Gemby, his 3rd. This one is on Astorino, so both of them have 3 personals. Jordan Gemby for a 3 off the mark, no good. Thrush gets the rebound and ends up in the hands again of Demetric Scott.
Demetric Scott empties the trash.
He's been in the right place at the right time all night long.
Back in that 3-2 zone now goes Greencastle. And again, you want to find Scott's hands. He's behind the zone. Hunt him, make him go side to side behind the zone, and swing the ball. You got to swing the ball the whole way to the other side. There.
Astorino to Ponsel, pulling up from distance, no good. Battle for the rebound with Walker and Jaron Gemby. And a foul call apparently on Jaron Gemby, and that'll be his fourth.
He was over the back. Again, a good call, I think, for the official as Gemby was over the back.
So now if you're Jaron Gemby, how long do you allow your senior point guard and oldest son to sit on the bench as an assistant coach? 5:49 left in the third period of play. He'll come out with that fourth personal foul.
He's got a number in mind, and it's probably going to be somewhere inside of like 6 to 8 points the other direction.
And they work it inside to Astorino. Another foul called against Greencastle Antrim. And right now, despite the lead for the Blue Devils, they are clearly out of sorts.
That's a good timeout here. There you go. Get it behind the zone, and that's what happens. The best place to attack this thing is from the side, behind the zone, or in the middle.
Demetric Scott, I believe, will get called for the foul for the Blue Devils, and a timeout will be called by Greencastle Antrim. With 5 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in the third period of play, it'll be a full timeout for the Blue Devils. 33-29 is our score in the AAA championship with Greencastle Antrim on top of General McLane.
I think the official just took a pretty good earful from Gemby, and I think they're chatting over here right now and saying, okay, I warned him. That's it. Yeah, I give credit to the official. He went over, let him say his piece, he got out of there, but he let him know in no uncertain terms that the call was going to stand.
PCN is the only statewide network covering the PIAA championships. For a complete schedule of upcoming sports events, visit the network's website at www.pcntv.com. You are watching PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network, brought to you by over 150 cable systems all across the Commonwealth. PCN, only on cable.
You're going to see Greencastle Antrim's character tested right here. You feel like there's a red wave coming for some reason. And I'm telling you, Greencastle Antrim, I watched their huddle that time, and I was looking over there at number 23, Tyreek Thrush, and almost had to be pulled back into the huddle. So right now it's going to be an important moment for Greencastle Antrim, and an important moment for momentum on the other side for General McLane.
As Jaron Gemby comes out with that fourth personal foul, Greg Hams will check back in. As Astorino at the foul line to shoot two, makes the first. And Astorino goes 2 for 2, 9 points now for Drew Astorino, and the Lancers respond with some pressure.
1-2-2, zone press.
Ty Thrush gets it inside, goes up strong and scores over Astorino.
Boy, Ty Thrush got up and lingered, held the ball, and managed to knock it just over the edge of the rim. Back in the 3-2 zone.
Denying an opportunity for General McLane, at least temporarily, to tie up the basketball game. Ponsel for three and good.
Ponsel stepped it up this quarter, had a drive off that right side a moment ago, now knocks down a big tray.
And watch out if they get him another open shot. A streaky shooter is Kelly Ponsel.
His 25th three of the season gets the Lancers within a point as Demetric Scott hits the deck, and a foul going to be called this time on General McLane.
There's a screen, and then you kick it out. Ponsel wide open. Now what really sets that play up is when you come off that pick at the top and you start to drive over there, it pulls that defender over a step and he can't get back for the three-point shot.
Foul was on Kelly Ponsel. That's his first, team foul number second. Ty Thrush floating in the lane. Scott keeping it alive momentarily and keeping it alive well enough that it's last touched by General McLane.
We had heard about Demetric Scott coming in, that he can be an emotional player, and he's using his emotions tonight positively. He's just really, really active tonight against a team that's not used to playing against people that tall.
Jordan Gemby with the basketball right now, kicking it outside to Greg Hams. They wait for somebody to screen open. Jordan Gemby will no doubt take over ball responsibilities with his big brother on the bench with those 4 fouls. Gelsinger inside, finds a seam and scores.
They just keep finding ways to get those little shots in there. They're not particularly pretty, but they're going in. They count for 2.
They continue to just kind of find themselves in a situation with nobody around them, and they put up the bucket.
There again, they found the seam of that zone, not able to hook up on the short gimme.
Back the other way, Greg Hams goes end-to-end for 2.
You know, it's amazing how kids step up when a big gun goes out of the game, and you say, geez, I can do this.
Now a 5-point game in favor of Greencastle Antrim. They work it outside for a 3 from Astorino.
They hit Walker behind the zone, threw it opposite. The zone's already committed to that left side, and Astorino was wide open for the 3.
Halfway through period number 3. 39-37 is our score. Greencastle Antrim on top of General McLane.
I don't know if we get a look at that last play, but it was really interesting. They're dissecting the zone. They're just not getting all their shots at the ball as General McLane. There it is to watch. Watch what happens. Well, here you're seeing the transition on the other side. Big move there at the end by number 32, Greg Ham. And then there's that inside play, and then kick it opposite, and you're always going to have that guy open because the zone is committed to the left side. Wide open shot for Astorino.
Trevor Gelsinger with the basketball. His defender falls down, and he takes advantage of it as Dan Skelton lost his footing.
Gelsinger got away with a shove that time, trying to create the gap in the lane. He got the gap, didn't get the call, and went in for the 2.
Back to a 4-point game. Ponsel trying to change that with his second 3, but this time it's too strong. Last touch by the Lancers. Last touch by Greencastle, so it will go over to General McLane.
The problem with that shot by Ponsel, it didn't touch Walker's hands. When it's touching Walker's hands, they're getting great 3-pointers in rhythm. That one was a quick pop.
Steve Roach checks back into the game for General McLane, wearing number 30.
Roach had 8 big points in that win against Grove City.
Astorino steps inside for 2, too strong. There's Ponsel again with another rebound, but it's stripped away by Greg Hams.
Smart move by Scott to hold his feet that time, too, and get the block.
Hams again trying to score in transition, but a good job by General McLane to hustle back as Roach pulls away a rebound, and now a foul called against Greg Hams will stop the clock with 3:25 left, third period.
And not a foul that you had to commit if you're Greg Hams back there. Just keep the man under control and keep him out in front of you. Contain.
Again, General McLane trying to make Pennsylvania Scholastic history tonight. They would be the first team, if they can win tonight, that has ever won a football and basketball championship in the same academic year. They beat Pottsville in the AAA football championship, and they're in a tug of war right now with Greencastle Antrim in the basketball championship. Astorino goes right by everybody for 2.
Man-to-man that time, and Astorino took full advantage of it and went straight down the side. Another hard, slashing drive to the basket.
14 points now for Drew Astorino as we approach 3 minutes left, third period. Demetric Scott with the basketball. Gives it up to Gelsinger, trying to rub off a screen. They'll kick it outside, nothing there.
Good patience here by Greencastle Antrim. I really like the way number 15, Trevor Gelsinger, has kind of picked the pace of this game down for Greencastle, especially with Gemby out of there.
He cannot score inside, however, and the ball is pulled away by the Lancers. Ponsel with the basketball in the right wing, waits for help in the presence of Bob Stauffer.
Speaking of help, good help that time by G.A.
Astorino just too quick right now for Greencastle, but he can't finish. Walker couldn't follow the putback.
And I'm a little bit amazed right now that Greencastle came out of that 3-2 zone. They're back to man-to-man. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go back into that thing shortly.
Golden opportunity that time for General McLane. They come up empty, and a chance that would have tied up the basketball game. Still a 2-point lead for the Blue Devils with 2 minutes remaining in the third period of play. Trevor Gelsinger with the basketball right now. Again, an outstanding soccer player for the Blue Devils and headed here to Penn State on a soccer scholarship. He has his shot partially blocked. Ball is loose on the floor, and a foul will be called.
Kelly Ponsel's really been a difference for McLane this third quarter.
Foul is going to be on Gelsinger, and that'll be his first. Team foul number 4 against the Blue Devils.
Talk about how good Gelsinger was playing soccer. 105 goals scored. The record at Greencastle Antrim, so the guy can play.
And it's kind of interesting. He's an offensive force on soccer, but he's been a defensive force tonight, bodying up a lot with Sean Walker down low.
He's called a cleanup guy on this team, and that's exactly what he does. But I'll tell you what, he's really done a nice job of taking leadership of this team with Gemby out of the game.
And again, they keep continuing to take advantage of the quickness of Drew Astorino.
Inside back screen alley-oop play that time, and they got exactly what they wanted with the athletic Astorino.
And we are tied at 41-41. Greencastle Antrim has led this basketball game from the opening tip-off.
Right now they are hanging on.
First high since 1818.
1:15 remaining in the third period of play. Gelsinger right now, the Blue Devils trying to play a little keep away with perhaps the final minute and change of this third quarter.
Nice step out by Roach defensively.
Very nice. Made him veer out, Gemby. The kick's under a minute now.
Both teams, fans trying to get the emotions back into this basketball game as we're now at 50 seconds remaining, period number 3.
I've yet to ever see anything like this at the end of a third quarter in a championship game. Everybody's scared in this place.
Greencastle Antrim started this possession with 1:15 remaining in the quarter. We're now down to 30 seconds remaining. Gelsinger steps inside. They'll kick it right back outside to Jordan Gemby.
The kick down to 25 seconds. I think they're going to try to let Gemby go in here at about 11 seconds. Kicks down to 18, 17.
Gemby with the basketball, dribbling it around.
Now's when you go. Now's when you go.
Crossover dribble, trying to set himself up inside to Demetric Scott for 2.
How smart was that? He drew Scott's man up, just inside. Scott with a layup.
Back the other way, Astorino to beat the buzzer for 3. Comes up no good. An entertaining third period of play sets us up for what should be a dandy of a fourth quarter. Stick around. We've got 8 more minutes to play here in the PIAA Boys AAA Championship game. At the end of 3 quarters of play, it's Greencastle Antrim 43, General McLane 41. You're watching high school basketball championships on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, PCN.
For over 25 years, PCN is proud to bring you exciting moments of Pennsylvania sports. From touchdowns to double plays to the butterfly stroke, PCN brings all the action right to you. PCN is a 501c3 nonprofit television network that receives no state or federal funding. Please consider a tax-deductible donation today. PCN is Pennsylvania sports.
Welcome back to the Bryce Jordan Center alongside Steve Bone and Gary Sutton. My name is Bob McCool, set to start the 4th period of play in the boys AAA championship. General McLane trailing by 2 with possession to start the 4th quarter.
I think you're going to see a lot more patience for these 2 teams here in the final quarter now as General McLane, Astorino's going to draw the foul.
Astorino has pretty much taken over this game offensively for General McLane, scoring 9 of his 16 points in the 3rd period.
Steve, he's got that quarterback mentality. I mean, here's a guy that's used to making big plays in the football field. You got to think right now he's going to pick this team up and put it on his back.
We saw him do it in the 4th quarter in football against Pottsville.
And with the basketball right now is Bob Stauffer.
Look how even this game is. Look at the rebounds, 23-23. And the assist, 12-12. And the score, 43-41. 1 bucket up for Greencastle Antrim here, starting the 4th.
Bob Stauffer, Drew Astorino, Bleedy Ray Wilson, Sean Walker, and Steve Roach out there right now for General McLane as Demetric Scott steps in the passing lane and comes up with a steal.
In a game like this, every possession starts to get magnified now as we move inside the 7-minute mark shortly.
And remember, Jaron Gemby on the bench for Greencastle Antrim picked up his 4th personal foul with 5:47 left in the 3rd period of play. And a timeout called on the floor by the Blue Devils.
Steve, what I think is amazing is they really have had Gelsinger step up in place of Gemby. It's become a different character kind of team, and it's gotten into the half-court game, and they've managed to stave off a big run by McLane.
I think the other thing, too, is that when they switch who's going to be responsible to handle the basketball, it's caused a little problem for McLane. They put Ray Wilson on Gemby, and he did a nice job, but then that left Gelsinger with a smaller player on him. It's a chess match right now. 2-point game, 7 minutes left.
Gelsinger is much more of a distributor than Gemby is. I think he's thinking distribution first, scoring second, whereas Gemby's in there. He's thinking scoring first, distribution second. So it's really interesting. Gemby's back in there now, so Coach Gemby is rolling the dice with 7:05 to go.
We hope you are enjoying today's coverage of the 2007 PIAA Boys AAA Basketball Championships, and we'd certainly value your opinion. Let us know your thoughts. Send PCN an email at PCNTV@PCNTV.com or call our viewer comment line at 717-730-6004. Inside of 7 minutes remaining, and Steve Roach comes up with a steal and will lay it home for the 2.
Gemby had to back off. That would have been his 5th foul, so he had to back away and give up the layup. High game.
Fourth tie of the basketball game at 43-43.
Okay, they've got Gemby scouted really well with that left hand. I mean, every time he's making a move, they're picking his pocket. Look at this, jumping out, same thing again.
And this time it'll be a foul called instead on Steve Roach on the reach-in. That'll be his first team foul, number 4.
This is great scouting. Watch this. Now stop right here. Here's the screen. Every time they screen, they say, we're going to jump out here, double team, and with the inside hand, we're going to nip it away. That time he got a little body, but he had the inside hand. That is by design.
So Greencastle Antrim will inbound at half court. And Jordan Gemby will take the basketball. Roach guarding him.
Greencastle Antrim likes to put a lot of screens on the ball, and so there's a lot of those kinds of opportunities are coming up.
Ty Thrush with the basketball right now. They work it to Demetric Scott, who's been quiet here in the second half, and he misses everything on the fadeaway.
And that's the kind of shot you want Demetric Scott taking if you're General McLane.
The Lancers looking for their first lead of the basketball game. They have it in the hands of Drew Astorino. And they're looking inside to Walker, and it's taken away. Good defense on the denial by Gelsinger.
Great defense by Gelsinger. That was a play that when it left Astorino's hands, Gelsinger was not in position. He really worked hard to get there.
Gelsinger has really stepped up here in the second half. Has played the point guard, has done a great job defensively as well.
Ty Thrush almost had it taken away, ends up giving it up inside to Scott, who has a shot blocked by Walker. Ball loose on the floor, and Astorino comes up with it.
Walker did a great job of going face-to-face with Scott and putting it back down on him.
Again, General McLane looking for its first lead of the basketball game. Stauffer working inside, scores, and he's fouled. So Bob Stauffer, closing in on 1,500 points in his career, comes up with the biggest shot of the night for General McLane so far.
He may not get a lot of style points in that shot, but it counts for a huge 2, and at the 5:34 mark of the fourth quarter, gives them their first lead in, I think, a long time.
That is their first lead of the basketball game.
There you go.
We talked about football players who are playing basketball for McLane. Bob Stauffer has been an everything player. He's played offensive back, wide receiver, quarterback.
Back the other way, Jordan Gemby cannot score in transition. And a whistle and a foul called against Greencastle Antrim. And that is bonus time from here on out. That's the 17th foul against the Blue Devils.
If ever there was a frustration foul, Tyreek Thrush just did it. And it was a terrible shot, first of all, by Jordan Gemby, coming down and just kind of throwing it up, and then Thrush trying to get the ball back, commits the foul.
And how about the contributions of Steve Roach off the bench here in the fourth quarter? He's got 2 steals, a big rebound there.
And makes the first, and we'll get another.
And he'll get credit for the best guy reading the scouting report. I'll tell you what, talk about just absolutely jumping out on that screen on the ball every time. Not just hedging, but jumping out and looking for that steal. He knows the ball's going to be coming every single time.
Greencastle Antrim has had a couple of 7-point leads in this basketball game, but right now it's a 4-point lead for General McLane as Roach goes 2 for 2 at the line. It's 47-43, the Lancers on top.
And there's Thrush jumping out again off the screen.
Right now, if you're Greencastle Antrim, you got to remind yourself there's 5 minutes and change left in this game.
Yeah, it's danger time, though. They need to find the right person taking the right shot. How about that?
Jaron Gemby, who will end up at the foul line as Astorino will get whistled for the bump, and that's his 4th. So Jaron Gemby will go to the line and shoot 2.
Here's the pitch. Gemby going up. You can see Astorino getting him on the arm. Good look there by our Service Electric 2 camera crew.
So on the 4th personal foul against Drew Astorino, Jaron Gemby will step to the foul line to shoot 2. He is a 73% foul shooter in a season, but he misses the first. Kelly Ponsel, who had a couple of big shots for the Lancers in the third quarter, will check back in.
He averages 16 points a game, but being held to only 5 here so far tonight. Of course, a lot of times spent in the bench here in the second half.
Astorino will come out with those 4 personals with 5:07 remaining. Jaron Gemby goes 1 for 2, 6 points for Jaron Gemby. It's a 3-point lead for General McLane at 47-44.
They're going to come back to the 3-2. Here's that same play they ran before.
Stauffer between everybody, no good, but Walker there for the putback.
Stauffer getting penetration again. They set a double screen. Stauffer said, forget it. I'm taking it to the basket. Misses it, but stick back with a big guy, Walker.
With Astorino out, you're going to see a lot of that. The ball in Bobby Stauffer's hands almost exclusively.
Ty Thrush can't finish inside. Offensive rebound for the Blue Devils as Jordan Gemby going to get called for stepping on the end line and turns it over.
Jordan Gemby's trying to do too much too quickly right now.
And Coach Gemby just signaled, pack it in a little bit so you can stop Stauffer.
4:34 remaining in the basketball game. General McLane 49, Greencastle Antrim 44.
There you see team foul situation. Greencastle with 8 right now, so bonus time from McLane. They only have given up 5. They got a couple to give.
Stauffer will rub off a screen, takes it inside, looks for help, finally kicks it back outside. Ray Wilson baseline jumper for 2.
That's a big hoop.
Good time move. Really need a timeout here for Greencastle Antrim. You're not going to get it right now, though.
Instead, it's a turnover as Roach comes up with the loose basketball. Ponsel working inside to Walker. Walker will kick it outside. Stauffer free for 3. Off the front of the rim, no good. Whistle and shoving going on underneath, and I believe they're going to call Walker on the push-off.
They are going to call Walker the push-off. It'll be the 16th foul, so 1 to give yet for bonus.
The second personal on Sean Walker. As Gary said, it's 16 fouls against General McLane, and again, Greencastle Antrim has already committed 7 fouls, so all fouls against the Blue Devils from here on out will send General McLane to the foul line.
It's under 4 minutes now. It becomes a coach's game. Every possession now, you've got to make sure that you're running what you want.
Jaron Gemby gives it up to Ty Thrush. They find Jordan Gemby and the lob inside to Gelsinger, but he was not expecting the pass, and it's a turnover. Ball loose on the floor. Stauffer and Thrush on the collision, and they're going to call Thrush on the foul.
Thrush wasn't going to get fouled until he stood in up and put the shoulder in, and that's where the foul came.
And that's going to be number 4 on Ty Thrush.
Right here again, you'll see him now. He gets up. There's where he got him.
And so Greg Hams will check back into the game. Drew Astorino also checks back into the game for the Lancers with those 4 personals. So you got Jaron Gemby and Ty Thrush for Greencastle Antrim with 4 personals apiece, and Drew Astorino with 4 for General McLane. 1-on-1 opportunity for Stauffer, comes up empty.
General McLane with a great chance here to put this one away, and they've missed the last 2 times down.
Greg Hams with the basketball on the right wing, has his path to the basket cut off by Kelly Ponsel. Now you see the turnover numbers. Greencastle Antrim with 9, General McLane with 7. Working his way inside is Jaron Gemby, comes away with nothing. And the Lancers pull away the rebound. 1 shot and done for Blue Devils.
And where's Demetric Scott? The hands have not touched the ball for a long time.
He had 14 points at halftime. He scored 2 more field goals early in the 3rd quarter, but that's been it. 18 points in total. Walker working his way inside. A whistle and a foul called on Gelsinger.
Boy, did Walker get great position that time, sealing Gelsinger on his upper hip, and then a beautiful pass to get him in low.
Foul number 2 on Trevor Gelsinger, number 9 on Greencastle Antrim.
Watch this. Now wait, let's stop right there. He's had him right in his high hip. Now he's home. He's in.
And a timeout will be called on the floor with 3 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the basketball game. General McLane, trailing for 3/4 of this basketball game, has taken the lead here in the 4th quarter, and right now they lead it by 7 at 51-44.
3:05 to go. You're down by 7 points. It's still an eternity right now, Steve. So if you're Greencastle Antrim, you just got to handle the ball better. I think they've been trying to do things too quickly.
Good crowds on hand for the 2 doubleheaders so far. You see the General McLane Lancers out of Edinburgh in District 10. Greencastle Antrim out of Franklin County, the first team in Franklin County history to ever make it to the state championship.
Normally I don't say anything about the map, but I know I'm going to hear it when I go home if I don't. They had Edinburgh listed in Crawford County. It's just north of the Crawford County line. It's actually in Erie County, just so you know.
Glad you cleared that up.
Our geography lesson by Mr. Steve Bowen. Thank you very much. We knew we had you here for a reason. Again, General McLane out of District 10, Region number 5. They were the District 10 champions. Greencastle Antrim out of the Mid-Penn Capital Conference. They were one of 3 teams that made it to the semifinals out of the Capital Conference. And of course, they beat one of those teams in James Buchanan to get here. And Scotland was in the Class A final before losing to Reading Central Catholic on Tuesday evening. Sean Walker at the foul line on a one-on-one opportunity makes the first. 9 points now for Sean Walker.
You know, if you're Greencastle Antrim coming into this game, you're thinking, what the heck? You know, no one expected us to make it this far. We're a 5th seed out of our own conference, or out of our own league. And then they break out to the lead. Now it's, you know, now they know that they can play with this team.
And Jordan Demby drains the 3 from the corner. And that quickly is back to a 6-point game inside of 3 minutes remaining.
And Cinderella hasn't left the building yet.
It's about 10 to 12, but it's still going on so far for Greencastle. But Stauffer trying to change that, but it rolls off the rim. Walker there for the putback, blocked by Scott. Steve Roach comes up with another opportunity, and he's going to go to the foul line.
And Steve Roach has been huge. With a capital H in the 4th quarter for the Lancers.
How about a capital R here? Look at Crawford, drive right there on the inside. And then you see Crawford, look at this guy. Just keeps on going back. Roach with a big R has really made his presence known here in the second half.
Second foul of the game against Greg Hams as Roach will shoot 2. And he's made 3 in a row at the foul line. 5 points in total for Steve Roach. But he's done a lot of intangibles, especially here in this 4th quarter.
You know, Roach would be a good player for any team. That guy's coming off the bench here for this club.
And that's a big part of this whole story, is that this football team and basketball team combination for General McLane with the football championship. These guys, the football players, missed the first 6 games of the season, so it was the Steve Roaches and the Bleedy Ray Wilsons who had to be the basketball team. They got off to a 3-3 start. The football team joined up. They've been 24-1 ever since.
So there again, pass made too quickly. You've got to make good passes now. Your possessions have got to count every time down the floor if you're Greencastle Antrim, and likewise at the other side for General McLane.
2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining for Andy Schultz's team to make history in Pennsylvania on back-to-back championships. But again, another 3 by Greencastle Antrim. This time it's Demetric Scott from distance.
They've cut it to 5.
21 points on the night for Demetric Scott.
Gemby is covering out there on number 25. Stauffer trying to make sure he doesn't get the ball. Playing in total man-to-man, no help at all.
Mascherino taking his hands on the basketball. Now it's Bleedy Ray Wilson with it. Ball is tipped by Jordan Demby and controlled by Jaron Demby.
Great move there to take Stauffer out of it, make somebody else handle it.
And another 3 from Demetric Scott.
Holy
cow. Has it back to a 2-point game.
Holy cow. There are a lot of people you'd expect to hit 2 big 3s late in the game. I'm not sure Demetric Scott was one of them.
And a tougher one you won't find than that one from Demetric Scott, fading into his own bench. Puts up the 3, and the Blue Devils will burn a quick timeout. They still have 1 timeout remaining.
Well, this is 3 number 25 you're going to see right here. That's on the right side. And then on the other side, how about 3 number 26 for the year? Nothing but cord. Back to within 2 points here for Cinderella, Greencastle Antrim. The Blue Devils are bedeviling General McLane at the moment.
Well, guys, when we were in Hershey Park Stadium in December, we talked a lot about the last game of the first night, the General McLane and Pottsville football game being the game of the first night and perhaps the best game we saw. Well, General McLane's here again, and this one's certainly the best game of the day.
Yeah, we didn't quite know what to expect in this one. There was, you know, the mission that McLane's on, the whatever attitude by Greencastle Antrim just getting here, and this has been everything we could possibly imagine.
55-53 is our score. General McLane on top with 1:49 remaining, and we might as well say it now, in regulation. And General McLane with the basketball. Greencastle Antrim will extend the defense to the full court. Stauffer takes it across half court, being guarded by Jaron Demby, playing with 4 fouls. It's Walker inside, goes up, comes up, no good. Battle for the loose basketball, and finally controlled by Demetric Scott.
Kicked down to 125 right now.
And now it's Greencastle Antrim trying to come from behind and tie it up. Much like the Lancers did in quarter number 3 and in quarter number 4. Kai Thrush gives it up to the hot hand of Demetric Scott, looking for Gelsinger. Whistle and an offensive foul called on Gelsinger. And a gutsy move by Drew Astorino, playing with 4 personals. If the call goes the other way, Drew Astorino's done for the evening.
Well, there you see it. And I think Astorino might have leaned a little bit into that, but I'll tell you what, he got great position. Stop right here. See right there, he's chest to chest, and he takes the shot. And I'll tell you what, a courageous call for the official, but the right call.
And on the player possession, it's not a shooting foul. You don't walk the floor on a player possession foul. Inbounds pass is a bad one, and it's taken away by Jaron Gemby. A whistle and a reach-in foul called against, I believe, Sean Walker. Both teams are in the bonus.
Wow. Look at this. Great job of face guarding, forcing a long pass to be thrown. Gelsinger goes down. Walker reaches around. Easy call for the official. 1-1 now for Gelsinger at the line.
Foul number 3 on Sean Walker.
Gelsinger only a 52.6% free throw shooter on the season.
And he steps to the line for the first time tonight. Like he's been there all year long. 9 points now for Trevor Gelsinger. If he can make the second, we'll have our 5th tie of the game.
You know, you talk about character. It's these kind of guys you want at the line at the end, no matter what the numbers say. How about that?
2 for 2 for Gelsinger. We are tied at 55.
And we have, ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute to go.
And a timeout will be called by General McLane. It'll be a 30-second timeout for the Lancers. They still have 2 timeouts to burn. Greencastle Antrium has just 1 timeout remaining. Again, the foul situation, Greencastle Antrium has committed their 10 fouls. And so it's double bonus time from here on out for General McLane, and 17 fouls against the Lancers.
Look at Gelsinger. Look at this, 52.6%. What the heck? Tie it up. And you can see the reaction of the cheerleaders. They say, we kind of like that. We don't know what his percentages are. We don't care. We just love what he's doing right now. Tie game. I'll tell you what, guys, this is as good as it gets.
It absolutely is. And both coaches, Gary, you mentioned about 3 minutes ago that it's become a coach's game. They're coaching their brains out right now, trying to get this win, because this game has been, as the score indicates, as even as you can possibly get.
Well, the ball's going to touch 2 sets of hands there. Stauffer's, if they can get him in it, or Astorino, and then Walker. I really believe you're going to see some kind of penetration trying to get Scott to come off Walker. Let's see what happens.
Kelly Ponsel checks back into the game for General McLane, wearing number 24, posting up at the foul line. He was big in the 3rd quarter for the Lancers.
Well, the decision's been made here. 1 shot. Andy Schultz says, we're going to stay out here. We're going to make either come out of the zone, or we're going to wait until about 10 seconds or so and start to take it in.
Stauffer and Astorino right now playing catch, unless Greencastle Antrium will come out and make them change up their game plan. Stauffer steps inside, and they'll work it right back outside to Astorino now with 30 seconds remaining.
What Andy Schultz here wants is some kind of shot that's going to cause the possibility of a foul. And that means Walker inside or Astorino or Stauffer driving.
Astorino with 4 fouls, being guarded by Jaron Gemby is 4 fouls. 15 seconds remaining, and another timeout called by General McLane.
What this does now is it puts the pressure on the defense. He's got no pressure here. He's going to take the last possession, and he now has the 15 seconds to have the officials focus in on what he's going to set on a play where it's going to be a one-on-one, Astorino or Stauffer, and the officials are now going to get into a bang-bang type of play underneath. That's what they're looking for. So the officials now are going to have to be ready for what is going to be an ending that's going to have the type of shot that a foul will be caused on.
And Steve, one of the sideline stories of this whole scenario for General McLane is that coaching staff. Andy Schultz and his partner Roy Stauffer, Bob Stauffer's dad, have been together for a long time, and Roy Stauffer has already said that this is going to be his last game as a coach.
And there's rumors floating about Northwestern Pennsylvania that it might be Andy Schultz's last game as well. Those have been flying around for a while, though. I think it's just fun to watch these two coach, because they are Coach 1 and Coach 1A.
Well, right here, the officials just ran over and all checked with each other and said, make sure you're in this. Got 15 seconds to go. Good preventative officiating by them. They got to be on their toes. Here we go.
Let's not forget about the 3rd team out there, the guys in the black and white.
They've worked their brains out today, and they've got it right.
Dave Wright, Jeff Davis, and Roddy Hartle are our officials in this AAA championship, down to 7 seconds. They kick it to Astorino with 5 seconds. Pulls up at the foul line for 2.
What a shot! What a shot!
We said it was going to catch one of 2 sets of hands. It touched Stauffer, then it touched Astorino, the gamer, the player of the year in football, and right now the player of the moment for General McLane with a great jump shot. Look at this. Ice water.
Drew Astorino puts it up with 4. It finds the bottom of the net with 2 seconds remaining as Greencastle Antrim burns its final timeout. So if you're Garen Gemby, now your task is to figure out a way to get your team to go the length of the floor and put up a shot with 2 seconds on the clock.
And if you're Coach Andy Schultz, what you want to do is make someone have to come in the direction of the ball so they have to catch, turn, and they can't face the basket in any kind of positive motion right away. What you usually try to do on this with 2 seconds to go is you want to try to get it to someone ideally at the top of the key, a Christian Laker kind of shot, and have 2 players running the wings on the outside. But you don't want to have in the backcourt where you've got to just shove it up there. Of course, Cinderella has gone to the dance a few times this year. A long 3 is not outside the realm of possibility of what we've seen in this game.
I'm not making any predictions or anything, because quite honestly, I have no idea what's going to happen. It's just going to be fun, the last 2 seconds of what's been an outstanding basketball game.
Well, here you go. Scott's actually open. Here we go.
Jordan Gemby to Jaron Gemby for the win. Comes up just short. Perhaps symbolic for Greencastle Antrim as they come up just short on their Cinderella attempt to win the AAA State Championship. And history has been made here at the Bryce Jordan Center as the General McLane Lancers are the first team ever in the state of Pennsylvania to win a football championship and a basketball championship in the same scholastic year. 57-55 is our final score.
And they did it in a way that I don't think a lot of people who followed them all year kind of casually understood. They did it in the way that they won other games. They did it with a lot of people contributing. They did it with tough defense. They did it with some clutch shooting. And they did it with a lot of heart and a lot of grit.
How about, not too surprising to say that Drew Astorino is the guy that wins it for them on the football field and ultimately makes the winning basket for them and does so on what will soon be his next campus here at Penn State University.
Slightly shorter than the 71-yard burst he made to win the football game, but just as wonderful for the McLane Lancers and their fans.
Are there any mayoral elections coming up in Erie soon? I mean, I know who would run. I'll tell you what, though, look at Greencastle Antrim. What a run.
And again, with 5 seconds remaining, he starts to work to the basket, and with 2, he puts it through.
Boy, and that little pump fake allowed him, he didn't have to come around people, he just came straight across.
Yeah.
It was like shooting a free throw. He made himself a much easier shot with that pump fake.
Well, everybody was aware of Walker. You could see everybody kind of sagging. They thought the way I was thinking that there was going to be some kind of drive to get the ball up there and a foul possibility. Good coaching the other side. Astorino said, well, you're giving me a foul shot, I'll take it. It was just outside the foul line, and he buried it.
So the General McLane Lancers will win the AAA championship. Again, the final score, in case you lost it in the flurry at the end, 57-55 in favor of General McLane. And if, in fact, this is the final game for Andy Schultz, it's a fitting way to go out. Again, we'll remind you, this is just day 1 of our basketball coverage here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. We'll start back up again tomorrow at noon with the A Girls Championship. Bishop Guilfoyle and North Catholic is the matchup in Girls Class A. Prep Charter and Aliquippa in the highly anticipated Boys AA Championship will be the second game of the afternoon doubleheader. And then we'll be right back here at this Bryce Jordan Center beginning at 6 o'clock for the evening doubleheader. The AAA Girls Championship with perhaps the best team on the girls' side in the state of Pennsylvania, Hopewell, going up against Villa Maria. And then another highly anticipated matchup in the Boys Championship, Chester and Shenley. If you're having any trouble sleeping, watch that one. That'll keep you awake.
Well, you and I had a chance to call the first one in Philadelphia, and it was a dynamite game, and Shenley beat Chester in their hometown. So you got to believe Chester's coming back in here with some ideas, and Shenley has been very, very tough, wiping out Harrisburg the other night. So it's going to be a dynamite basketball day tomorrow.
we talked about Andy Schultz and how this has meant so much to him and his team. We saw there was about a 3-second little burst there where he walked away from the crowd, held his head in his hands, just kind of bent over a little bit, came back up cool, calm, and collected as ever. That might be as much emotion as you're going to see from Andy Schultz on the floor. I guarantee you when they get back to Edinburgh, it's going to be big time.
Today's championships are available in over 3 million homes all over Pennsylvania. From Philadelphia to Erie and Pittsburgh to the Poconos, you are watching championship basketball only on PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network. Steve Bowen, Gary Sutton, Bob McCool with you. And stay tuned for Mike Zambelli and Jim Wills in the postgame show. And now it's time for the medal ceremonies. First up, the silver medals for Greencastle Antrim.
Jordan Stotler, Trevor Gelsinger, Jaron Gemby, Ty Thrush, Demetric Scott, Andrew Cordell, Greg Hams, John Frick, Rusty Cordell, head coach Garen Gemby, assistant coach Jeremy Ebby, assistant coach Mark Poole, assistant coach Jerry Engelhart, athletic director Vicki Ritchie, trainer Mark DeCarli, sub-superintendent Greg Hoover, assistant principal Ed Reif, scorekeeper Pat Ruda, scorekeeper Larry Geis, statistician Katie Herman, statistician Morgan Kelly, statistician Lauren Kelly. And now to accept the runner-up trophy, Jordan Gemby, Jaron Gemby, and Ty Thrush. And now for General McLane. The awards are presented by District 10 Chair and PIAA President Walter Blucas. They first go to Ryan Skelton. Bleedy Ray Wilson. Kellen O'Neill. Dom DeVito. Kyle Schumann. Dan Mulligan. Brian Lothar. Drew Astorino. Dan Skelton. Kelly Ponsel. Bob Stoffer. Steve Roach. Brad Callen. Kyle Steffi. Eric Kolka. Sean Walker. Head coach Andy Scholes. Assistant Roy Stoffer. Assistant Brian Scholes. Scorer Pat Christ. Superintendent Alan Carnes. Principal Donald Ickes. Principal Richard Scaletta. Athletic trainer Rob Kennerneck. Athletic director Ken Walker. And accepting the trophy tonight, Drew Astorino, Dan Skelton, Kelly Ponsel, and Bob Stoffer. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Lighthouse Sportswear will be printing the only official basketball champion shirt right here.
A terrific night tonight and a terrific fitting for the end of day one of this two-day tournament here at the Bryce Jordan Center. Greencastle Antrium will get the silver trophy and they will finish their season at 20-12. General McLane, the PIAA Class 3A championship, they will finish off their season at 28-4 and take the gold medal basketball trophy home and put it in a trophy case beside the one shaped like a football.
I got to tell you, Greencastle Antrim, Cinderella almost got it done. What a storied season. This will be one they'll always remember. They had never won a playoff game this year. They almost won the big prize. They came within an eyelash of it. For everybody else, General McLane, Drew Astorino is going to be a legend in his own time.
When you think about what they've done, winning football and basketball in the same academic year, I'm sure it's going to happen again. They're the first, though. No one else can say that they're the first. It's wonderful for this community and great for these kids. And I'm really happy for Andy Schultz and for Roy Stoffer. They've done a tremendous job and really put this program on the map.
York Catholic won the girls' AA game. Reading Central Catholic won the boys' A game. Cheltenham, the girls' quad A game. And the AAA game goes to General McLane. Terrific job by our whole crew today. The Service Electric crew, led by our director, Mr. Andy himself, who always gets the job done. And a great job by everybody here getting us through day number one, as we'll get you set for day number two. Don't forget, 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, the girls' A game will start the first of 4 straight games here on PCN. The AAA championship game is in the book. General McLane, 57, Greencastle Antrim, 55. From my partner, Steve Bone and Gary Sutton, my name is Bob McCool. Mike Zambelli and Jim Wills will have the post-game show, and the players and coaches who made this championship game special. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll talk to you tomorrow from the Bryce Jordan Center.
Stadium lights are going out. The bleachers are empty. The reason? No officials. When fans are disrespectful to the calls on the field and those who make them, it is a hard position to fill. Show your support for your PIAA officials by demonstrating respect. Let's all work together so the game is great for everyone.
Win a football championship and a state basketball championship. Your heart obviously goes out to the loser. Your admiration goes to the winner. Jim, I don't know how much they charged to get in here tonight, but it wasn't enough.
No, definitely not enough. What a great game. Both sides played their heart out. Comes down to the last couple seconds, and a gentleman is right next to you, puts that ball in the basket for the win.
Andy Schultz, head coach, your thoughts, your emotions. You mentioned how this team winning a football state championship actually helped your basketball team. Can you explain that?
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to let them talk about that because they won the game. I was a spectator. These kids have carried me. And I would just like to say our opponent was fabulous tonight. They played a fabulous game.
They deserve a lot of credit.
They had a heart of a champion. And it was his knockout punch that did it. Other than that, you never would have known. But these guys did it. I'm a spectator. They're the secretariat. I'm the jockey. So talk to the secretariat.
Well, let's bring in Drew Astorino. Let's first of all get your emotions. Let's ring up that championship game win. Now, this is a year for you that you scored the game-winning touchdown in the football championship game, and now the game-winning deuce in the basketball title game. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody on our team's really excited. I think we didn't play the best game tonight, but I think the marker of a good team is find a way to win, and I think we all pulled together tonight just like in football, and we just got it done.
It was an uphill battle for you guys throughout this game. They really played well against you. You didn't take the lead until late in this contest. What was your mindset?
Yeah, I mean, they came out great, usually make the first punch, but they played real great. And we went in there, we knew we could get it done still. We had confidence, and we just played together and as a team, and that's how we've been playing all year.
What's going through your mind right here?
I don't know, and I don't ever usually make those shots, but I guess I made one that counts.
He makes them. He doesn't take them very often.
Bob Stauffer again, a football championship and now a basketball championship. Can you put it into words?
No, not really. It's unbelievable. Just taking these us and these guys for a ride here and just playing tough every game and coming out and competing for so long of our lives. And that's the only thing we know how to do is compete. And what a great team Greencastle Antrium is. And we just came out and competed. And credit to Coach Schultz and my dad, Coach Stauffer, and Brian, and Coach Wells. And we just come out and play tough every game, and I think that's what we did tonight.
I need an honest answer. You guys were up 9. I think it was with about 3 minutes to go. Did you think you had it won?
That's one thing that we never think we haven't won. We go back to the huddle, and Coach Schultz always reminds us of that. We got to play hard every minute of the game. Never take a minute off, and that's what we concentrate in practice, too.
Coach Schultz, I'm going to give it to Jim Wills in a minute, but I want to ask you one thing. You have a close personal friend, your assistant coach tonight. This young man's father retires tomorrow morning. Is this a fitting way to do it?
I think it's the only way he wanted to go out, and we wanted to do that for him. He's been such a special part of the program, and we certainly wanted him to go out as a winner. And the kids made that become a reality. They really played fantastic tonight.
Coach, I think there was a couple people that made contributions off the bench, Steve Roach being one of them. He only had 6 points in the box score, but I'll tell you what, that steal at the 1 point, the 1-on-1 combination down at the foul line, those are the kind of guys that win championships, that contribute to the whole thing.
I couldn't say it better. Our bench has done a good job all year. We weren't afraid to go to them again tonight. We went to them early. Although we were down at halftime, we still stuck with our bench. And Roachy did a great job, and Bleedy off the bench. Bleedy Ray Wilson did a fabulous job, too.
I thought Bonzo as well hit a couple
yes,
of big
he did.
shots, especially in the second half.
We're a team that we rely on each other. We have faith in each other, and they have faith in their teammates. And, we were very fortunate to come out with a win, but we're loving it.
Well, and congratulations, all of you. Drew Astorino, you're going to play football here under Joe Paterno. I was looking for him. I didn't see him. This is a nice way to get it started.
Yeah, I'm excited to come here and real excited to start it off like this.
Congratulations, guys. Enjoy the championship. I'm sure it'll be a great trip
home. You guys
home.
do a fabulous job with the coverage.
So we appreciate that. Don't forget it, guys.
Good luck. Good luck
you
in your
worked hard
career.
for it. Don't forget it. That's
Don't
for
forget
sure.
it.
Absolutely. What a basketball game here. An epic, an historic meeting, and a memory and an image that basketball fans will remember for a long, long time. Drew Astorino knocking down the game winner. That will do it for our coverage. We certainly hope you enjoyed it. For Jim Wills, I'm Mike Zambelli. General McLane, your 3A boys champion. We'll see you tomorrow with 4 more.